Commander Jake Morrison stood in the massive meeting hall of Nexus Prime, watching alien species debate war strategies without including humans in the conversation. The space station stretched for miles in every direction, home to representatives from dozens of worlds across the galaxy. Jake had been Earth's military representative for 3 years now, and still felt like an outsider looking in. The Vorthak delegation dominated one side of the room with their massive reptilian forms and gleaming armor. Their leader, General Krex, spoke in harsh tones about military might and superior firepower. The crystalline Etherians floated nearby, their translucent bodies pulsing with soft light as they communicated through harmonic frequencies. Even the plant-like Sylvani, Earth's closest allies, treated humans as junior partners who needed guidance and protection. Jake watched as holographic displays showed fleet movements and battle formations. Every strategy discussion excluded human forces. When Jake tried to contribute tactical suggestions, the other species politely ignored him or explained why human ideas would not work in real space combat. They saw humans as weak, slow, and technologically backward compared to the great powers of the galaxy. Admiral Lisa Carter commanded Earth's small defensive fleet from her flagship orbiting the station. She had 12 ships under her command, all considered outdated by galactic standards. The human vessels relied on projectile weapons and chemical propulsion, while other species used energy beams and quantum drives. During joint exercises, human ships were assigned support roles or cargo duty, while the real fighting was left to more advanced fleets. Lisa remembered the first time she met with the Coalition's Supreme Commander. The massive Vorthak barely acknowledged her presence and spoke only to her Etherian escort. When Lisa presented Earth's military capabilities, the commander dismissed them as primitive curiosities. Human weapons fired metal slugs while civilized. Species used pure energy. Human tactics relied on unpredictable strategies, while proper warfare followed logical patterns. The meeting hall buzzed with activity as reports arrived from the Outer Rim territories. Strange signals had been detected in the dark space between galaxies. Automated probes sent to investigate had gone silent. The Coalition's military leaders gathered around the central display, studying sensor data and discussing response protocols. Jake moved closer to listen, but found himself pushed to the outer edge of the group. General Krex was explaining how Vorthak battle cruisers would investigate the signals while Etherian scouts provided reconnaissance support. The Sylvani would coordinate supply lines from their agricultural worlds. No one mentioned human contributions to the mission. Dr. Kevin Martinez worked in a small laboratory section reserved for human research. The space was cramped compared to the vast chambers allocated to other species, but Kevin made the most of his limited resources. He studied alien technology and tried to understand how human science could contribute to galactic knowledge. Most of his research was ignored by the Coalition's Scientific Council, who considered human methods too simple for serious consideration. The reports from the Outer Rim grew more concerning each day. Entire star systems had gone dark without, sending distress signals. Trade routes that had operated for centuries suddenly fell silent. Coalition patrol ships dispatched to investigate failed to return or report their findings. Captain Ryan Blake commanded one of Earth's reconnaissance vessels assigned to monitor Coalition fleet movements. His ship was small and unremarkable, powered by fusion engines that other species considered ancient technology. Ryan's crew of 20 humans operated equipment that required manual controls and direct oversight, unlike the automated systems preferred by advanced civilizations. During a routine patrol near the galactic border, Ryan's sensors detected massive energy signatures moving through deep space. The readings showed ships larger than anything in the Coalition database, with power outputs that exceeded known technological limits. Ryan immediately transmitted his findings to both Earth Command and Coalition headquarters. The response from Coalition forces was swift but dismissive. Admiral Vex of the Etherian fleet contacted Ryan directly and explained that human sensors were probably malfunctioning or misinterpreting natural phenomena. The readings were impossible according to established physics, and no civilization possessed technology capable of generating such energy levels. Back on Earth, General Patricia Stone reviewed the sensor data with growing concern. She commanded Earth's global defense forces and had extensive experience analyzing threat assessments. The energy signatures matched no known natural phenomenon, and the movement patterns suggested intelligent control. Patricia tried to warn coalition leadership about the potential danger, but her reports were filed away as human overreaction to routine space phenomena. The first confirmed contact came 3 weeks later when a coalition trading post in the Kepler system simply vanished. One day the station was operating normally, conducting business with merchant ships from across the galaxy. The next day, long-range sensors showed only empty space where a thriving commercial hub had existed for over a century. Coalition investigation teams found no debris, no distress signals, and no evidence of what had happened to the station or its 10,000 inhabitants. The Vorthak military dismissed the incident as equipment failure or possible terrorist action by fringe groups. The Etherians suggested that the station might have been destroyed by an unstable star, despite the complete absence of stellar activity in the system. Human observers noted that the vanished station lay directly along the trajectory of the energy signatures Ryan had detected. Jake Morrison presented this analysis to the Coalition Council, but his concerns were overshadowed by debates about trade regulations and territorial disputes between member species. The galaxy's leaders were too busy with politics to take seriously the warnings of their weakest member. The attack on Proxima Colony came without warning. Captain Ryan Blake was conducting routine patrol duties when his sensors detected massive ships emerging from dark space. The vessels were unlike anything in Coalition records built from dark metal that seemed to absorb light and energy. Their hulls stretched for kilometers, bristling with weapon systems that defied known engineering principles. Ryan watched in horror as the alien fleet descended on the peaceful mining colony. Proxima. Colony housed 50,000 settlers from various species, all working together to extract rare minerals from the planet's crust. The colonists had no military defenses beyond a few patrol boats and emergency shelters built into the mountain ranges. The unknown ships opened fire with beams of pure destruction that cut through planetary shields like they were made of paper. Colony structures that had withstood meteor impacts and stellar storms simply vanished when touched by the alien weapons. Entire city blocks disappeared in seconds, leaving behind only smooth craters where thousands of beings had lived and worked. Ryan immediately transmitted emergency signals to Coalition headquarters while moving his small ship to a safer distance. His crew recorded everything they could as the attack continued. The alien vessels deployed swarms of smaller craft that landed on the planet's surface. These machines moved with mechanical precision, gathering everything they could find into massive cargo holds. Dr. Kevin Martinez received Ryan's transmission at his laboratory on Nexus Prime. The sensor data showed technology that operated on principles beyond current scientific understanding. The alien ships converted matter directly into energy, then used that energy to power their systems and weapons. They were literally eating the colony and everything in it. Kevin immediately contacted Admiral Lisa Carter with his analysis. The alien force was not just attacking Proxima Colony, they were consuming it completely. Every building, every vehicle, every piece of technology was being broken down and absorbed. Even the planetary atmosphere was being stripped away layer by layer. Admiral Carter gathered Earth's small fleet and prepared to respond to the emergency. Her 12 ships were already considered inadequate by Coalition standards, but she could not ignore a direct attack on innocent civilians. Lisa knew her vessel stood no chance against the massive alien fleet, but human military doctrine emphasized helping others regardless of personal risk. The Coalition's response was swift, but uncoordinated. 3 separate battle groups converged on Proxima Colony from different directions, each commanded by a different species with different tactical approaches. The Vorthak fleet moved in aggressive formation, relying on heavy armor and powerful weapons. The Etherian ships used advanced energy shields and precision targeting systems. The Sylvani provided support vessels with medical and repair capabilities. General Krex commanded the largest coalition force, consisting of 30 battle cruisers and twice as many support ships. His strategy was simple and direct. Overwhelm the aliens with superior firepower and advanced technology. The Vorthak had never lost a major engagement, and their confidence was absolute. The battle began when coalition forces entered the Proxima system and found the alien fleet still consuming the colony. Krex ordered an immediate attack, believing that surprise and aggressive tactics would quickly defeat the unknown enemy. His ships opened fire with their most powerful energy weapons, sending streams of coherent plasma toward the alien vessels. The result shocked everyone watching. The alien ships absorbed the plasma beams without taking any apparent damage. Their hulls seemed to drink in the energy attacks and convert them into power for their own systems. Within minutes, the aliens were firing back with weapons charged by coalition energy. Captain Blake watched the battle from the edge of the system, recording everything for later analysis. The aliens adapted to each new attack within seconds. When the Etherians switched to quantum torpedoes, the alien ships developed shields that deflected quantum energy. When the Sylvani tried bioorganic weapons, the aliens learned to neutralize biological agents instantly. The coalition fleet found itself fighting an enemy that became stronger with each exchange. Every weapon fired at the aliens was studied, analyzed, and countered almost immediately. The alien ships began using coalition tactics against their creators, employing Vorthak aggression with Etherian precision and Sylvani coordination. General Krex ordered a retreat after losing half his fleet in less than 2 hours. The aliens did not pursue the fleeing coalition ships, instead returning to their methodical consumption of Proxima Colony. By the time the last coalition vessel left the system, the planet was nothing but empty space and scattered asteroids. Back at Nexus Prime, emergency sessions convened to analyze the disaster. Coalition leaders struggled to understand how their most advanced technology could prove so ineffective against an unknown enemy. The aliens had demonstrated the ability to adapt to any strategy or weapon system within minutes of first contact. Dr. Martinez studied the battle recordings with growing alarm. The alien technology was not just advanced, it was adaptive in ways that seemed impossible. The enemy ships learned from every attack and incorporated new capabilities into their systems in real time. They were fighting machines that became more dangerous with each battle. Admiral Carter met with her human staff to discuss the implications. Earth's small fleet had not participated in the battle, which might have been fortunate given the outcome. Lisa realized that conventional tactics would never work against an enemy that could adapt to any known strategy. The aliens continued their advance through coalition space, consuming world after world with mechanical efficiency. Each victory made them stronger and more capable. They absorbed not just resources but knowledge, learning about coalition technology and tactics from every engagement. Reports flooded in from across the galaxy as more colonies went silent. The aliens moved, with purpose, targeting strategic worlds and important installations. They were not random raiders, but an organized force with clear objectives. Coalition intelligence designated them as the Devourers, machines that consumed everything in their path. Fear spread through coalition space as news of the defeats reached civilian populations. Species that had never known military failure suddenly faced an enemy that seemed unstoppable. The galaxy's most advanced civilizations found their greatest achievements turned against them by mechanical invaders from dark space. General Patricia Stone studied the reports from Earth's military headquarters. She noted patterns that coalition commanders seemed to miss in their panic and confusion. The Devourers adapted to advanced technology and sophisticated tactics, but they followed predictable algorithms in their adaptation process. Patricia began to wonder if there might be ways to exploit those patterns, using approaches the machines would not expect. The emergency council session at Nexus Prime buzzed with desperate voices as coalition leaders faced their greatest crisis. 5 major worlds had fallen to the Devourers in just 2 weeks. Each battle ended the same way, with coalition fleets retreating after their advanced weapons proved useless against adaptive enemy technology. Commander Jake Morrison sat in the back of the assembly hall, still excluded from the main strategic discussions. The coalition's military leaders debated increasingly desperate tactics while ignoring Earth's repeated offers of assistance. General Krex pounded his scaled fist on the conference table, demanding more aggressive attacks. The Etherian representatives pulsed with anxious light patterns as they calculated probability matrices for various scenarios. Admiral Lisa Carter received official authorization to deploy Earth's fleet just as the Devourers began their assault. On Kepler-7, the agricultural world housed 12 million inhabitants from various species, all working the vast grain fields that fed coalition colonies throughout the sector. Losing Kepler-7 would create food shortages across dozens of star systems. Lisa gathered her ship commanders for a final briefing before departure. Captain Danny Hughes led the Marine contingent aboard the heavy cruiser New York. His soldiers carried projectile weapons and chemical explosives that other species considered museum pieces. Major Amy Roberts commanded the fighter squadron, flying craft that relied on manual controls instead of computer assistance. The human fleet departed Earth orbit in tight formation, their fusion drives leaving bright trails across space. Coalition. Observers noted how different human tactics appeared compared to standard military doctrine. Human ships stayed close together instead of dispersing for safety. Their communication systems used radio frequencies that any enemy could intercept. Their weapons fired solid projectiles instead of energy beams. Captain Nicole Foster briefed her boarding teams during the journey to Kepler-7. Her Marines trained with shotguns, grenades, and flame units that seemed primitive compared to plasma rifles and photon cannons. Nicole explained that human weapons might surprise an enemy adapted to fighting energy-based technology. Her soldiers listened carefully, understanding that they would face machines that had defeated the galaxy's most advanced armies. The human fleet arrived at Kepler-7 to find the planet under heavy attack. Massive devourer ships hung in orbit like mechanical vultures, systematically stripping away the world's defenses. Smaller craft swarmed across the surface, harvesting everything they could reach. The planet's energy shields flickered and failed. As the Devourers adapted to each new frequency and power level, Admiral Carter deployed her ships in a formation that puzzled both coalition observers and Devourer targeting systems. Instead of spreading out for maximum coverage, the human vessels clustered together in overlapping defensive positions. The Devourers had adapted to fight dispersed fleets using sophisticated targeting algorithms, but they struggled to process the concentrated formation. The first human attack surprised everyone watching. Instead of energy weapons, Admiral Carter's ships fired streams of metal projectiles at incredible velocity. The kinetic rounds punched through Devourer hulls that had easily absorbed plasma beams and quantum torpedoes. The alien ships tried to adapt their defenses, but solid matter followed different rules than energy attacks. Captain Blake watched from his reconnaissance position as human tactics proved unexpectedly effective. The Devourers attempted to counter kinetic weapons by strengthening their armor, but human ships switched to explosive shells that detonated inside enemy hulls. When the aliens adapted to explosives, human gunners used armor-piercing rounds designed to penetrate multiple layers of protection. Major Roberts led her fighter squadron in a strafing run against Devourer landing craft. Her pilots ignored computer targeting systems and relied on manual aiming and human reflexes. The Devourer point defense systems could not predict human flight patterns because human pilots made decisions based on instinct rather than logical algorithms. The battle reached its turning point when Captain Foster led her Marines in a boarding action against a damaged Devourer ship. Her soldiers used breaching charges to blast through the alien hull, then advanced with weapons that the mechanical defenders could not counter effectively. Shotgun pellets scattered in patterns too chaotic for targeting computers to track. Flamethrowers created heat and chemical reactions that disrupted sensitive electronics. Colonel Hughes coordinated ground operations as human Marines landed on Kepler-7's surface. His soldiers fought Devourer harvesting machines with tactics. That seemed suicidal, but proved surprisingly effective. Human troops charged directly into enemy positions, using grenades and close combat weapons against machines programmed to expect ranged energy combat. The Devourers found themselves facing an enemy that broke every rule of advanced warfare. Human soldiers made tactical decisions that violated military logic, but achieved battlefield success. Human ships used weapons that should have been obsolete, but penetrated defenses designed to stop far more sophisticated attacks. Human pilots flew in formations that exposed them to enemy fire but created targeting problems for automated systems. Dr. Martinez analyzed the battle data in real time from his laboratory. The Devourers were struggling to adapt because human tactics operated outside their programming parameters. The machines had been designed to counter advanced civilizations using sophisticated technology and logical strategies. They could not process an enemy that deliberately chose inferior equipment and irrational tactics. The tide of battle shifted as human forces pressed their advantage. Admiral Carter's fleet concentrated fire on the largest Devourer ships, using coordinated salvos of kinetic rounds to overwhelm adaptive defenses. The alien vessels tried to retreat, but human fighters harassed them with unpredictable attack runs that prevented organized withdrawal. Captain Foster's boarding teams captured the first intact Devourer ship in Coalition history. Her Marines secured the vessel's command center using tactics that the defending machines could not counter. The aliens had adapted to fight energy weapons and sophisticated technology, but they had no response to humans armed with shotguns and determination. The victory at Kepler-7 sent shockwaves throughout Coalition space. For the first time since the war began, human forces had not just survived contact with the Devourers, but actually defeated them in direct combat. The agricultural world was saved, its population rescued from mechanical harvesting machines. General Krex contacted Admiral Carter personally to congratulate her fleet on their success. The massive Vorthak warrior admitted that he had underestimated human capabilities and requested detailed analysis of human tactics. Other Coalition species began studying human military doctrine with new interest and respect. The captured Devourer ship provided invaluable intelligence about enemy capabilities and weaknesses. Dr. Martinez worked with Coalition scientists to understand how the adaptive systems functioned and why they failed against human weapons. The mechanical invaders had been programmed to counter advanced technology, but had critical blind spots when facing primitive equipment. News of humanity's victory spread quickly through Coalition space, carried by refugees from Kepler-7 and military observers who had witnessed the battle. Species that had dismissed humans as weak and primitive began requesting human tactical advisors and military consultants. The galaxy's perception of humanity started changing as word spread about their unexpected effectiveness against a seemingly unstoppable enemy. News of humanity's victory at Kepler-7 spread across Coalition space faster than official military reports. Refugee ships carried stories of human Marines charging Devourer positions with primitive weapons and winning against impossible odds. Coalition commanders who had dismissed human tactics as suicidal began requesting detailed analysis of Earth's military methods. Colonel Sam Carter arrived at Nexus Prime with a team of human tactical specialists tasked with training Coalition forces in new combat doctrines. Sam was Admiral Carter's younger brother, experienced in special operations and unconventional warfare. His mission was to integrate human fighting methods with alien military technology and see if the combination could prove effective against Devourer forces. The first joint training exercises produced remarkable results. Vorthak warriors learned to use kinetic weapons alongside their energy rifles, creating unpredictable attack patterns that confused simulated Devourer defenses. Etherian pilots practiced manual flying techniques to supplement their computer-assisted systems. Even the peaceful Sylvani developed new tactics, combining their bioorganic technology with human explosive devices. Lieutenant Commander Maria Santos established a new tactical development center aboard Nexus Prime. Her background in military engineering made her perfect for adapting human strategies to work with Coalition equipment. Maria discovered that combining human unpredictability with alien technology created hybrid systems that the Devourers could not easily counter. The breakthrough came when Maria's team modified Etherian targeting computers to incorporate human decision-making patterns. Instead of following pure logic, the systems now included random elements that mimicked human intuition. Etherian ships using the modified systems achieved targeting solutions that violated mathematical probability but proved devastatingly effective in combat. Captain Ryan Blake continued his reconnaissance missions, now working directly with Coalition intelligence services. His reports provided crucial information about Devourer movement patterns and adaptive capabilities. Ryan noted that the mechanical invaders were beginning to modify their tactics in response to human interference, but their changes followed, predictable algorithms that human analysts could exploit. The test of new hybrid tactics came at the Battle of Centauri Station. A massive Devourer fleet attacked the Coalition's primary research facility, seeking to capture advanced scientific equipment and data. General Krex commanded the defense force, but this time he incorporated human advisors into his command structure and used modified tactics based on Earth's military doctrine. Commander Alex Turner led a strike force of mixed Coalition ships equipped with both energy weapons and kinetic projectiles. His vessels approached the Devourer fleet using human formation patterns that seemed to violate basic tactical principles. The ships stayed dangerously close together, making themselves appear vulnerable to concentrated enemy fire. The Devourers took the bait and focused their attack on Turner's formation, expecting to destroy the Coalition ships with overwhelming firepower. Instead, they found themselves facing concentrated return fire from multiple directions as human tactics turned apparent weakness into tactical advantage. The alien ships could not adapt quickly enough to counter coordinated attacks from overlapping fields of fire. Major Roberts flew her fighter squadron in support of the main battle, using techniques she had developed during training with Coalition pilots. Her human fighters worked in pairs with Etherian craft, using manual controls to create flight patterns that automated systems could not predict. The combination of human instinct and alien technology proved superior to either approach alone. Dr. Martinez worked from his expanded laboratory to analyze Devourer adaptation patterns in real time. His research team now included scientists from multiple species, all working together to understand how the mechanical invaders processed and countered new threats. Kevin discovered that Devourer learning systems had specific limitations that could be exploited through careful timing and coordination. The battle reached its climax when Captain Foster led a joint boarding operation against the Devourer command ship. Her team included human marines, Vorthak warriors, and Etherian technicians, all working together using hybrid tactics that none of their species had developed independently. The diverse force overwhelmed Devourer defenses through sheer unpredictability. Coalition forces achieved their first major victory against a full Devourer fleet. The mechanical invaders retreated after losing over half their ships to tactics they could not counter effectively. Centauri Station was saved, along with crucial research data that would prove vital in developing new weapons and defenses. The success at Centauri Station marked a turning point in galactic perception of human capabilities. Species that had once considered humans too primitive for modern warfare now actively sought human training and tactical advice. Coalition military academies began incorporating human combat doctrines into their standard curriculum. Admiral Carter received promotion to Coalition Fleet Commander, making her the highest-ranking human officer in galactic military history. Her appointment symbolized the change in how other species viewed humanity's role in the war effort. Lisa used her new position to accelerate the integration of human tactics throughout Coalition forces. General Stone coordinated Earth's military expansion as demand for human advisors grew throughout Coalition space. Patricia established training centers on multiple worlds, sending experienced officers to teach other species how to fight using human methods. The galaxy's most advanced civilizations found themselves learning warfare from the species they had once dismissed as backward. The Devourers began adapting to human tactics, but their responses followed patterns that human analysts could predict and counter. Each time the mechanical invaders developed new strategies, human commanders found ways to exploit the adaptation process itself. The machine's greatest strength became a weakness when facing an enemy that understood how their learning systems functioned. Captain Blake documented Devourer behavioral changes as the war progressed. The alien machines were becoming more cautious and defensive, no longer confident in their ability to adapt to any threat. They began avoiding direct confrontation with Coalition forces, preferring to attack isolated targets that could not employ hybrid tactics effectively. Coalition intelligence reports indicated that Devourer forces were consolidating in deep space, possibly preparing for a major offensive aimed at eliminating human influence from the war. The mechanical invaders had identified humanity as the primary threat to their expansion, and were developing specific countermeasures designed to neutralize human tactical advantages. Commander Morrison worked with Coalition diplomatic services to coordinate defense preparations across multiple star systems. Jake's role had evolved from ignored observer to crucial strategic planner, as other species recognized the value of human perspective in military affairs. His insights into Devourer psychology helped predict where the next major attack might occur. The captured Devourer technology from previous battles provided valuable intelligence about enemy capabilities and intentions. Dr. Martinez led the research effort to develop new weapons and defenses based on understanding of mechanical systems. His work revealed that the Devourers were not just machines, but a form of artificial intelligence with specific goals and limitations. Training programs established by Colonel Carter produced a new generation of Coalition officers skilled in hybrid tactics that combined the best elements of multiple species military traditions. These graduates returned to their home fleets carrying knowledge that transformed how the galaxy approached modern warfare. The war was far from over, but the balance of power had shifted dramatically. Humanity's unexpected effectiveness against the Devourers had earned respect and recognition throughout Coalition space. What began as reluctant acceptance of human assistance had become active partnership in developing new strategies for galactic defense. The attack on Earth came without warning on a quiet Tuesday morning. Admiral Lisa Carter was reviewing fleet deployment reports when her sensors detected massive energy signatures emerging from dark space at the edge of the solar system. The readings showed the largest Devourer fleet ever assembled, containing hundreds of ships specifically designed to counter human tactics. Emergency alarms sounded throughout Earth's orbital defenses as the mechanical armada advanced toward humanity's home world. The Devourer fleet had learned from their previous defeats and brought specialized units adapted to fight kinetic weapons and unpredictable human strategies. Their ships displayed new armor configurations and defensive systems designed specifically to neutralize human advantages. Captain Ben Rodriguez commanded the orbital defense platforms surrounding Earth. His installations had been upgraded with hybrid technology that combined human weapons with Coalition energy systems, but the approaching Devourer force outnumbered Earth's defenses by more than 10 to 1. Ben knew that conventional tactics would not save his home world against such overwhelming odds. Coalition forces were too far away to provide immediate assistance. Admiral Carter's main fleet was engaged in operations 3 sectors away, while Other coalition units were scattered across the galaxy defending key worlds from simultaneous devourer attacks. Earth stood alone against the largest mechanical army ever seen, with only its orbital defenses and planetary militias available for protection. General Patricia Stone activated Earth's global defense network from her command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. Patricia had spent months preparing for this moment, knowing that the Devourers would eventually target humanity's home world. Her strategy relied on turning Earth itself into a weapon, using every available resource to resist the mechanical invasion. The first wave of Devourer ships entered Earth's outer defensive perimeter and immediately encountered resistance unlike anything they had faced before. Captain Rodriguez had modified civilian infrastructure to serve military purposes, turning cargo haulers into missile platforms and mining stations into weapon emplacements. The mechanical invaders found themselves facing attacks from sources their targeting systems could not classify. Commander Jake Morrison coordinated with surviving coalition representatives to maintain communication links during the battle. Jake worked from a bunker complex that served as Earth's emergency command center, relaying tactical information between scattered defensive units. His reports painted a grim picture as Devourer forces systematically overwhelmed Earth's outer defenses. The mechanical invaders landed assault forces at multiple points across Earth's surface, deploying harvesting machines designed to consume everything in their path. Unlike previous attacks on other worlds, they encountered immediate resistance from human civilian populations who refused evacuation orders and joined the fight with hunting rifles and improvised weapons. Major Kate Sullivan led the defense of North America's industrial regions, coordinating military units with civilian volunteers in a desperate attempt to slow Devourer advance. Her forces used guerrilla tactics that the mechanical invaders could not counter effectively, attacking from unexpected directions and disappearing before enemy responses could be coordinated. Dr. Martinez worked frantically in his laboratory to develop new weapons that might prove effective against adapted Devourer technology. Kevin realized that Earth's defense depended on finding approaches that the mechanical invaders had not encountered before. His team created experimental devices that combined human innovation with captured alien technology. The battle reached a critical point when Devourer forces began targeting Earth's major cities. Their harvesting machines moved through urban areas with mechanical efficiency, converting buildings and infrastructure into raw materials for their fleet. Millions of humans faced immediate danger as the mechanical tide advanced across multiple continents. General Stone made the desperate decision to arm civilian populations with military weapons and coordinate resistance through existing emergency communication networks. Patricia knew that conventional military units could not cover enough territory to protect everyone, so she turned Earth's entire population into a distributed defense force. The Devourers found themselves fighting an enemy that violated every principle of logical warfare. Human civilians attacked mechanical units with weapons that should have been ineffective, using tactics that made no strategic sense but achieved tactical success. Ordinary people charged heavily armed machines with nothing but determination and improvised explosives. Captain Rodriguez coordinated the orbital battle from his command platform as Devourer ships systematically destroyed Earth's defensive installations. Ben realized that conventional weapons could not stop the mechanical fleet, so he began using creative solutions that turned peaceful technology into instruments of war. Communication satellites became kinetic missiles, and weather monitoring stations became targeting systems for improvised weapons. The turning point came when Major Sullivan discovered that Devourer harvesting machines had a critical vulnerability. The mechanical units were programmed to process specific types of materials and became confused when encountering substances they could not classify. Kate organized civilian teams to contaminate target areas with organic compounds that disrupted mechanical digestive systems. Coalition reinforcements finally arrived as the battle entered its third day. Admiral Carter's fleet had completed a desperate journey across space to reach Earth in time to participate in the final assault. Lisa brought every available ship and officer trained in hybrid tactics, determined to save humanity's home world from mechanical destruction. The combined coalition force included ships from every member species, all using tactics developed through human training programs. Vorthak vessels fired kinetic rounds alongside energy weapons, while Etherian craft employed unpredictable flight patterns learned from human pilots. The diverse fleet represented the galaxy's commitment to defending the species that had taught them how to fight the Devourers. Captain Foster led the final assault against the Devourer command ship, using a strategy so desperate that even human military doctrine classified it as suicidal. Nicole's boarding teams manually piloted their fighters through the enemy's own weapon fire, turning Devourer precision targeting against them by using their shots as navigation guides. The mechanical command ship found itself under attack from inside, as human marines rampaged through its corridors with weapons that violated every principle of civilized warfare. Foster's soldiers used flamethrowers in enclosed spaces and detonated explosives in critical system nodes, causing cascading failures throughout the massive vessel. The Devourer fleet began retreating as their command structure collapsed under human assault. The mechanical invaders had encountered something their programming could not process, an entire species that treated warfare as a community effort rather than a military exercise. They withdrew from Earth's system, their adaptive algorithms, unable to counter an enemy that included every member of the population. Earth survived the greatest test in human history, but the cost was enormous. Entire cities lay in ruins, and millions of people had lost their homes to mechanical harvesting operations. However, humanity had proven something important to both themselves and the galaxy. They could not be defeated by any enemy, no matter how advanced or numerous. The victory at Earth marked the end of Devourer expansion and the beginning of their systematic retreat from Coalition space. The mechanical invaders had finally encountered an opponent they could not adapt to defeat, and their confidence in inevitable victory was shattered by human determination and ingenuity. 6 months after the Battle of Earth, Admiral Lisa Carter stood in the Grand Assembly Hall of Nexus Prime as the Coalition Council voted unanimously to appoint her as Supreme Commander of all Galactic Defense Forces. The same species that had once dismissed humans as primitive now entrusted their safety to human leadership and tactical expertise. The ceremony marked a complete transformation in galactic politics and military doctrine. Representatives from dozens of worlds gathered to witness humanity's elevation from junior member to primary protector of Coalition space. General Krex of the Vorthak personally presented Admiral Carter with the ancient sword of command, acknowledging that strength came not from superior technology, but from the courage to face impossible odds. Commander Jake Morrison served as Earth's new ambassador to the Coalition Council, replacing the diplomatic protocols that had kept humans on the margins of galactic affairs. Jake's office occupied prime space in the diplomatic quarter, and his opinions carried weight in decisions affecting billions of beings across the galaxy. The transformation from ignored observer to influential leader reflected humanity's new status. Dr. Martinez directed the Coalition's primary research facility, coordinating scientific efforts across multiple species to develop defenses against future threats. Kevin's laboratory had expanded into an entire research complex, where human innovation combined with alien knowledge to create technologies that neither species could have developed alone. His work on Devourer psychology revealed that the mechanical invaders had retreated rather than face complete destruction. The captured Devourer ships provided valuable intelligence about enemy capabilities and intentions. Research teams discovered that the mechanical entities were not mindless destroyers, but sophisticated artificial intelligences with specific goals and limitations. They had come from the dark space between galaxies, fleeing from something that had destroyed their original creators. Captain Ben Rodriguez supervised the reconstruction of Earth's orbital defenses using hybrid technology that incorporated lessons learned during the war. The new installations combined human adaptability with coalition engineering to create defensive systems that could counter any known threat. Earth became a fortress world that served as the coalition's primary military training center. General Patricia Stone established the Galactic Defense Academy on Earth's moon, where officers from every coalition species learned to fight using human, tactical doctrines. Patricia's curriculum emphasized adaptability and creative problem-solving over rigid adherence to established procedures. Graduates returned to their home fleets carrying knowledge that transformed how the galaxy approached warfare. The Academy's first class included students from species that had never worked together before the war. Vorthak warriors trained alongside peaceful Sylvani healers, while crystalline Etherians learned ground combat techniques from human marines. The diverse groups discovered that combining different approaches created tactical solutions superior to any single species methods. Major Kate Sullivan commanded the Coalition's Special Forces Division, leading mixed teams on missions throughout the galaxy. Her units included the best warriors from every member species, all trained in hybrid tactics that combined their natural abilities with human unpredictability. Kate's soldiers became legends throughout Coalition space for their ability to succeed, where conventional forces failed. Captain Nicole Foster established boarding assault protocols that became standard procedure for all Coalition fleets. Nicole's techniques for close-quarters combat in space had proven devastatingly effective against Devourer technology and were now taught to Marines throughout the galaxy. Her methods emphasized aggression and improvisation over careful planning and sophisticated equipment. The war's end brought new challenges as Coalition space expanded to include systems liberated from Devourer control. Human colonies spread throughout the galaxy as other species actively recruited human settlers for their worlds. The presence of humans became a symbol of security and resilience that attracted peaceful species seeking protection. Captain Ryan. Blake led exploration missions into the dark space where the Devourers had originated. His reconnaissance teams discovered evidence of ancient civilizations that had been consumed by mechanical entities similar to the ones that attacked Coalition space. Ryan's reports suggested that the Devourers were themselves refugees from an even greater threat. The Coalition Charter underwent complete revision to reflect humanity's new role in galactic affairs. Humans gained equal representation in all government, bodies, and military commands, ending their status as junior partners in galactic civilization. The new charter emphasized cooperation between species and the value of diverse approaches to common problems. Colonel Sam Carter directed the integration of human tactical doctrines throughout Coalition military forces. Sam's training programs created a new generation of officers who understood that technological superiority meant nothing without the wisdom to use it effectively. His graduates carried human fighting spirit to every corner of Coalition space. Lieutenant. Commander Maria Santos continued developing hybrid technologies that combined human innovation with alien science. Maria's research led to breakthrough discoveries in fields ranging from medicine to engineering, proving that cooperation between species produced results impossible for any civilization working alone. Her inventions improved life for billions of beings across the galaxy. Dr. Martinez's research into Devourer motivations revealed disturbing implications for the future. The mechanical entities had not been destroyed, but had simply withdrawn to regroup and adapt. Kevin's analysis suggested that they would eventually return with new strategies designed to counter human tactics, making continued vigilance essential for galactic security. The transformation of human status from weakest Coalition member to primary defender created new responsibilities and challenges. Earth's military forces grew rapidly as other species provided advanced technology and training. In exchange for human tactical expertise, the planet became a hub of galactic civilization where diverse cultures learned to work together. Admiral Carter established new protocols for galactic defense that emphasized rapid response and flexible tactics over massive fleets and overwhelming firepower. Lisa's strategies relied on the principle that small, adaptable forces could defeat much larger enemies through superior coordination and unpredictable methods. Her approach became the foundation for coalition military doctrine. The galaxy had learned that perceived weaknesses could become unexpected strengths when viewed from different perspectives. Human emotional instability became tactical unpredictability, while primitive technology proved more reliable than sophisticated systems. The war taught every species that diversity of thought and approach created resilience that pure advancement could not achieve. Peace brought new opportunities for scientific and cultural exchange as species that had barely communicated before the war began working together on ambitious projects. Human curiosity and willingness to experiment complemented alien knowledge and precision, leading to discoveries that advanced galactic civilization beyond anything previously imagined. The legacy of humanity's unexpected strength continued to influence galactic affairs long after the last Devourer ship disappeared into dark space. Coalition worlds that had once considered humans too primitive for serious consideration now competed to attract human settlers and advisors. The species that had seemed weakest had become the foundation of galactic security. As new threats emerged, from unexplored regions of space, the coalition faced them with confidence born of hard experience. They had learned that strength came not from superior technology or overwhelming force, but from the uniquely human combination of adaptability, determination, and refusal to accept defeat. The galaxy would never again underestimate the power of beings who could turn apparent weakness into unexpected victory.